All right, everybody, welcome back to the Manufacturing Alliance Chat and Chow. I am Tony Demakis, as always, and I'm your host. And it's been a hot minute since we have done one of these Chat and Chows, and that's just because the world's been a little bit crazy lately, as you can tell, with COVID and the elections and everything else. So we just had to take a little pause and refocus ourselves. And so, oh, hold on. I've got audio going all over the place. I apologize. So I'm back with my friend Jenn Barlund, whatever she wants to be called nowadays. I'm not really sure. And she just got into the waiting room. So I'm going to bring her in right about now. She's joining. She's joining. Almost there. There she is. Oh, look at that green sweatshirt.
Can you hear me, Tony?
I can see you. I can't hear you. Oh, wait. Maybe I got it. I'm having issues. It's not your fault. It's my fault. How are you, Jenn?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. If I could just figure out where I put Facebook before so I can. I can hear you. Yeah, I've got it on two different audios right now, and I'm trying to figure out what I did wrong because it's been a while.
Okay.
The story of my life. So
that'll happen.
It happens. Good, how are you? See, can you hear yourself? That's off. I can hear you. Yeah, I've got. Why is it doing this to me? Two different audios right now, and I'm trying to figure out what I did wrong because it's been a while. Why is it doing this to me? The story of my life. So
that'll happen.
It happens. Bear with me. See, can you hear yourself? Bear with me. Why is it doing this to me?
You have to mute it on your Facebook or your LinkedIn or something.
But did you say, am I not muted?
Do you have to mute those on your LinkedIn or your Facebook Live?
I'm trying them.
Do you have to mute those on your LinkedIn or your Facebook Live?
Okay. Now talk to me.
Hello?
I figured it out.
Okay.
I don't know what I did. I had too many windows open, I think, but we got through it. I think my brain is not working because of the football game yesterday or the lack thereof football game yesterday. Yeah, I saw the sweatshirt.
Champions.
When you go against, I will publicly state, the Bears are bad. I am not proud of this team. I'm not proud of the effort that they put forward. I think that they were incredibly embarrassing, and I don't know how to say it any better. I'm sorry for all Bears fans out there. I'm sorry for football fans out there that had to watch that game. It was disappointing and embarrassing, and I just am very happy that my friend Jenn is a very, very kind person who didn't have, you didn't have to talk trash yesterday. It really wouldn't have done you any good to talk trash yesterday. It was that bad. So I appreciate you not, I'll say.
Well, you're welcome. And I agree. The game was terrible. I wish it would have been closer than that. It wasn't even fun to watch. So
no, and Kyle's jumping on a little bit quick saying that I was running the podcast as well as the Bears offense.
Oh boy. Brutal.
Yeah. Oh gosh. But he's not wrong. It was bad. That was a bad performance by me and by the Bears.
I was a little nervous though, because the Packers have been kind of hit or miss this year too. I mean, we just lost to the Vikings. So I'm like, if we lost to the Vikings, anything can happen at that point, right?
Yeah, anything could happen, and nothing did happen.
Fair enough.
And, we talked about what we were going to bet and what that was going to look like as a friendly bet. And we just decided that we were going to publicly shame our team for the display that they put forward. And did I do that adequate enough for you to?
I don't want to rub salt in the wound.
Yeah. I mean, you can.
I'm happy with the W. If it were closer, I might give you a little bit more trouble, but that was brutal enough. I feel like you got your fair share already. So
I think it was enough punishment to just have to sit through that game. And we watched the whole thing. I mean, you and I were talking back and forth, and there was
yeah,
just nothing good about it.
it was bad. It was bad. But moving on to bigger and better things, right? You can only go up from here, Tony.
That's true. It's true.
So
Who do the Packers play next?
oh, I haven't even looked ahead to next weekend. I have, I play fantasy football too, so usually I'm like way deep into it, but
Yeah.
with the year-end planning stuff that we've been going through and everything now, I've struggled in fantasy the past couple weeks too. I haven't been paying attention to basically anything outside of work lately. So that's been really exciting. So I was glad I got to watch the game last night. I usually work or Sunday nights, so I got to watch the game. So that was pretty good. So
Well, I'll say I'm glad that the Packers won because you deserve a break. And if they would have lost on the one little bit of time that you took for yourself, that would have been sad.
thanks, Tony. They did it for me, right? Just for me.
Right. And I was okay with it just for you.
Yep. Too funny.
So you've been doing some planning for work?
Yeah, so I kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit about that too. So we're doing our year-end planning, our goal setting, kind of going through all of that, reflecting on this year and looking forward to next year. A little bit of a lessons learned, trying to prepare better for anything that may come our way next year. So I just wanted to throw that out to you and ask you what you guys have been doing. 2020 handed us a lot, right? We've all kind of been on this roller coaster that we call 2020. So what are you guys doing in your business to better prepare? I mean, hopefully we don't see a pandemic again or anything of that nature, but to prepare yourselves for a second recession or whatever the next years may bring to you. Did you do a lessons learned and reflect on this year and what that looked like for your business?
We did a little bit of it. We haven't met as a leadership team to go over that kind of thing yet. I would say that I think we're rare that we were very fortunate that we didn't have a huge recession through everything. We stayed relatively busy. I know that, the last time we talked, you guys said you had rounds of unfortunately having to let people go and whatnot. And I think you're also a larger scale than we are, where we didn't have to do that. We were able to keep everybody, and we just actually hired a couple people to help us grow in that way. But I think just not taking things for granted and just, I think so many times when you're busy, you kind of rest and you say, we're busy, and you're not actively hunting for that next meal, right? That next customer, that next job, because you're like, oh, we're near capacity, we're doing great. And then in the blink of an eye, you're not. And then you have to recover. So I think what we're focusing on right now is just not resting, not being satisfied with where we're at and trying to push to get better.
That makes a lot of sense. That's absolutely kind of where we were at in 2019. We became a little fat and happy or complacent. Things were going well, business was going well, there wasn't much stirring the pot. We felt like we were growing and bettering our business every day, but like you said, in the blink of an eye, things can happen. And so as we reflected on this year, it was really difficult because the first quarter of this year was the best quarter we've ever had in business. So we were thriving, and then the next day we were starving.
Yeah.
So it absolutely, just like you said, it's not becoming complacent. It's continuously doing things in your business to stir things up and make sure that you're, looking at all areas of the business and not becoming settled or just okay with where you're at. So that's kind of what we reflected on this year as well, and just diversification of some markets. Fortunately I'm sure you guys had a little bit of an influx of business with people being down and wanting to do some tool modifications or tool work and things of that nature. Did you see some of that?
Yeah, it was a little bit of hit or miss because of the medical side of things. The medical side of things, like nobody wanted to pull tools to do any refurb or anything. And
Mm.
then, like everybody else, automotive eh, kind of hit a slump there for a little bit. But yeah, we've been fairly consistent is the best word I can use. Usually we have, the ups and downs. We're not as fortunate as a mold builder or a molder where we can book all that work out months in advance. We're continuously playing day by day because we don't know when emergencies are going to come up. We don't know when Falcon Plastics is going to have a tool that goes down and need to send it out for repair. We can't schedule that. So,
Yeah, that is
um, what's that?
that is very, very difficult, I'm sure, from the
Yeah,
schedule.
it's a little bit of a hurdle.
Yeah.
Um, but at the same point, we want to keep progressing and keep looking at ways that we can do that, and maybe work with our customers and say, we don't want to just be a customer. We want to be an extension of your business so that if and when you do need something, we're prepared to help you. So, do you have a downtime scheduled near the holidays or anything where we can come in while you're closed and make the changes that we need to make or make any adjustments or fixes? If you have new builds coming up, can we schedule some time now so that we can turn the polishing around even faster for you because we already know it's coming and we don't have to juggle different things. So we've been looking at that for a little while now to try and figure out how we can do that better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure this year just fast tracked that, right?
Yeah, this year it was a thing. We as a leadership team, we got together and we went over traction, which is a way to run your business. I think it's great. We met as a team and actually listened to the book together, and then discussed different sections. And right when we were about to put it into practice, they closed schools and part of the leadership team stays home and it's survival mode, not change mode. So it became a little bit more difficult to advance forward. That's not to say we're going to stop, but it kind of put the brakes on slightly.
Yeah. So are you going to circle back to that? I know quite a few people who have implemented that system, especially for their goal setting, and it's been very successful.
Yeah, we've been using like a modified version of it for about a year and a half for our team meetings, our weekly meetings. We do a scorecard. We keep track of that kind of data. We go over our successes and our issues, and we do run things that way. But as far as doing a deep dive on really adhering to the process, we haven't done that yet. I'm looking forward to it when we can finally do it, but we haven't been able to do it yet.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing back from you on that because I think, we put a lot of time and effort into goal setting. And so I think that would be something that we would benefit from as well, putting something like traction into place so that we make sure that we're all moving the same direction,
Yeah.
pushing towards the same goals. It makes sense. So I'm looking forward to hearing back from you on how that works for Alliance.
Well, and that's one of the things that we talk about here all the time is making sure that we're rowing in the same direction and not fighting ourselves in what we're trying to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard. It's
It is.
hard to get everybody rowing the same direction.
Well, and everybody has a different idea of what they think you should be focusing on as a company. And especially with us, with our 4 different US locations now, this year we really struggled with that. We kind of, we don't want to leave people out of that goal setting process, our key managers. But at the same time, that's a big group of people to be setting goals and trying to be all aligned for the same purpose. And
Yeah.
so we made it through. I think we have some good goals for next year, but we'll see how the follow through goes and if we can really push towards that and make some progress. So
Yeah.
fingers crossed.
Yeah, and I think that's the hardest part. Like if you're setting a financial goal, like we want to be blah 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 X% higher. This year's goal was we had lofty expectations, but then it shifted to let's just stay.
Let's
Let's
survive.
let's survive. Yeah. Yeah. And we still were able to achieve some of those goals, but we fell short in other areas. And I
Mhm.
think the lesson in there is it's got to be okay. Right. Like you can't beat up your team or yourself because you fell short because you don't know what you're going to go up against.
Absolutely. And that's what we talked about too, meeting on, you set these annual goals and then you don't look at them until October when you're like, oh, it's almost time to set our next year's goals. Did we do anything?
Right.
And that's, I think Traction does a really good job of the visibility and the metric tracking and, just making sure that you're holding people accountable to that all year round instead of set them in November, December, and then look at them the next October. So we're going to try to push that a little harder on a quarterly basis and get together and review if that's still the case. Because this year we set our goals and in March or April, those were no longer relevant. Like you said, it was
Exactly.
survival mode. And so we got to give ourselves a little bit of grace and understand that, okay, those three things may not be the three things that we get done, but what did we get done? We made it to almost December now, and we can say that we're still in business and all of our facilities are open. And so that to me right there is a success for this year. So I think just a little bit more of being a little bit more flexible and fluid with what we're doing and the traction that we make during the year is important. So
Yeah, I would agree with you. And also celebrating those little successes and rewards and not just brushing them off, right? And looking for the big one. If you're the Bears, you gotta celebrate every catch. You gotta celebrate every yard.
the little wins add up.
They do. They do. And the failures also add up.
They do, but that builds character. So
Let's go with that.
get up, brush it off, and keep going.
The Bears will be a team of character.
Yeah.
So we got that going for us.
Yeah, exactly. You got that going for you.
So how do you guys establish your goals now as a company? If you're not using Traction, do you have a one big meeting at the beginning of the year and kind of go through it all?
So I guess it would be a similar outline to what Traction has, because I believe from what I've heard about Traction, essentially you have your WAGs and then your lagging goals that lead into your wildly ambitious goals, correct?
Yeah, you have rocks, to-dos, and issues is pretty much what it's built on.
Okay,
Your
so
rocks are your 90-day goals, your to-dos are your weekly goals.
we don't dive down to weekly at this point,
Yeah,
but I guess we do in our we have like breakout committees
sure.
who assigned to kind of carry this through. So they meet on like a bi-weekly basis. So I guess they would have weekly goals in the committees. But yeah, we essentially get together as a corporate team with our facility managers, and then decide what our overarching company goals are and decide those initially. That way that kind of filters down, and then the facilities can make their individual facility goals that lead into those overarching
Sure.
corporate goals. So for example, we always have a sales goal, and profitability goal. That's always one goal of ours. And then we have we try to keep it to three goals just to make it manageable,
Yep.
try to get some traction there. So, and then we kind of filter that down through all of the levels and develop committees on a facility basis to kind of push that forward and gain buy-in at a facility level. It also, that allows, those committees allow all four of our facilities to have some interaction together. And
Yeah.
so even talking and sharing information and communicating on that level helps quite a bit, because it helps with shared best practices amongst the facilities. Because no matter what we do, not everything's going to be a shared best practice, right? Someone's going to do something different. So I think it's a lot of times we forget that we can learn a lot internally, and are seeking external help. But so that allows just some communication and I think that's been a really good thing over the past couple of years, is just the amount of communication we've had between our facilities in general has gone up. So
That's awesome.
it is
I mean,
awesome. It's harder than you think it is to get them to talk because they don't see each other every day. They don't know each other. They don't know, they're not going to the other facilities. They don't understand what they do or what they may know. Or so it helps to try to get those lines open and seek
yeah,
help internally.
that's one of the, we've got a facility in California that they strictly do laser welding and engraving in California, and they're doing a great job. And one of the things we implemented this year was weekly meetings with them, just to touch base and see what's happening and see how they're doing, and identify their goals and go through scorecards and issues that they're having. And we've found huge benefit in just connecting every week, same time, and just going over those things. The team in California, before we started doing this, they said they felt like they were on their own, that they weren't connected. And they felt connected when they were doing something that they weren't supposed to do, or the money wasn't there or something, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't have the resources and the opportunity to grow as an organization, as an entity of the larger organization. And once we started implementing this stuff, they've turned it around really well. Like, we are so proud of the effort that they put out in California, and
That's
it's been a complete reversal. It's great.
that is great. It's funny what a little communication can do. Knowledge is power, right?
Yeah.
So
Kyle wants to know how we're both doing with COVID fatigue. He's
that's
burnt out, and he wants to know if are either of you doing anything in particular to keep sane, personally or professionally? Go. You can go first.
wow, that's a good question. So I have posed that question actually to a few of my mentors because I feel the same way. It's just like you work and I know you know this too, you just work long hours and you put a lot of time and effort into your career, and then you go home and it's like you have no release to just relax, or it's just you're stuck at home, or you can't go do the same things you did before, or see your family or your loved ones. And so I guess for me, just a lot of house projects to keep busy. And I've just been zooming and calling my family and friends and mentors quite a bit and checking in on people. And I find that when I do that and I check in on loved ones or friends or anyone, it makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah.
Because it's, we're not alone. Everybody's feeling it. It's difficult. And now for us in the frozen tundra, it's like, oh, I can't just go, before when it was warm, I was riding bike a lot. Every day after work, I would just get on my bike and, make laps and go through the nature park. And that was really good for me. But now it's like, okay, it's starting to get really cold out. What am I going to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
It's real.
it is very real. It is very real. But having that just sort of exercise outlet, and then touching base with family and friends has helped me quite a bit. How
Yeah.
about you?
I would say that my COVID fatigue is more so just like tired of hearing about it. Fatigue, where I'm not going to say I'm a person that doesn't think that the virus is real. I think the virus is real. I have my mask that we wear in the shop. I'm not going to say I'm opposed to all of that, but I'm just kind of tired of the constant hearing of bad news, and oh, this is up and this is up and blah 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 blah. I'm tired of that side of things. Illinois just went on another big shutdown where they said you can eat outside at restaurants, but it's 30 degrees. So that's not going to happen. I feel very fortunate that our church is open. We're meeting in person, so that's a good release for our family. And my kids go to youth group, so that's really good for them. So they have connection with their friends there. And coming to work, I see my mom, I see my dad, I see my brother, I see my uncle. So that's really good for us. But overall, I've stopped watching the news almost entirely because I know that was really draining for me.
Yeah.
And I've just put my focus on things that kind of make me happy. And, you know, we just went on a vacation. We went to Florida and got out of the crazy for a little while. And it was awesome.
I saw that. That did look awesome. It looked like a bunch of fun. What all
Yeah.
did you do there?
So my wife Kelly and I were sitting, we were talking about how our kids have some COVID fatigue. We didn't feel like there was really anything to look forward to, right? Like Illinois saying it's time to cancel Thanksgiving and you may have to cancel Christmas and all these things. And we thought we need something. And Florida was open. So we found some affordable flights out of Rockford on Allegiant, and we flew out to Orlando, and we went to Universal Studios and Universal Theme Park, and we went to Animal Kingdom, and it was great. I mean, we took advantage of the COVID crazy, right? There weren't many people there, so we were able to do all the things that we wanted to do. We got out of the craziness for a little bit, and we had the best time. It was probably one of the best vacations we've had as a family in a long time. Kyle says he's got to go. I have to hop off, but just want to let you know how great you are. Aw, isn't he kind?
He is. He's awesome.
Happy to get to call you both my friend. We love you, Kyle.
We love you, Kyle. Kyle, call me if you're feeling down or anything. We can chat. We can have a Zoom. We can have a happy hour Zoom or something.
Right. And if he's got COVID fatigue, I haven't gotten a phone call.
Yeah. So hit us up.
I'm here for you, buddy.
Hit us up.
My friend Jesse just jumped on. He's a fraternity brother from Western Illinois. He may be coming on one of these shows pretty soon. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. He's got some big thoughts on cybersecurity and what's going on with that. Have you guys had any issues with that at all?
A little, not recently, knock on wood, but nothing crazy. No.
Yeah.
So, but it is a big issue right now. And thankfully we have a really great IT team. And so I feel like we're in good hands there, but that's a very scary issue.
Yes.
When you have a number of people being targeted in your company, you just never know really what's going to happen, or are they going to pose as one of your customers and accept payment for something, or suppliers, or you know what I'm saying? So I think our IT team does a really good job of making our team aware of anything going on. And that helps quite a bit too. And I think everybody's pretty hypersensitive. So when in doubt, we just shoot IT a message and say, does this look weird?
Yeah.
But
yeah, we've had a couple of those where it wasn't a complete hack, but people saying, customers writing saying, we got this invoice from you. We don't know what this is. And it's just red flag. We got to figure out what's going on here.
Yep, exactly. That's the scary part.
And then I just don't know. I wish people would just leave other people alone. Like that's the best business you can come up with, is hijacking somebody else's company.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty sad. It is sad. It is sad because it can really do some damage. And a lot of people have worked really hard, entrepreneurs. I heard a lot about it on Black Friday too, with people shopping on Black Friday or Cyber Monday. There's a lot of false storefronts online and stuff. So if you thought you were placing your order on Target.com, you may not have been. It may have been someone else, and they're, so even consumer fraud that way. And so it is sad, but I guess that's the world we live in. So
that's why we got to do this.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm a firm believer in karma too. So I think, things come back around. So.
Oh yeah. They'll get theirs.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. So what else is new in business? You said things are going well in California. You're busy again.
Yeah, we're launching a new laser welding machine. That's exciting. It's a spin-off of our ID1, which is fiber laser welding machine, but it's right around $100,000. So it's the cheapest fiber machine on the market. And we found a way to do it, which is really exciting.
Congratulations. That is awesome. Very excited.
That's coming out soon. And just I'm really proud of our team. They keep pushing the envelope and finding new things to do. We partnered with Universal Robots.
Oh,
Um,
cool though.
and we are in the final stages of launching a laser welding system that uses a robotic arm, which is really cool. Nobody's doing it, and
That's cool.
it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
That
And
is
you,
awesome, Tony.
yeah, we've done some big things this year that we have not advertised yet. We haven't gotten it out there yet.
Well, that's awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing videos of that, and hopefully we can talk about that at a later date because that's exciting. We use UR robots in our facility in almost every single one of our facilities. So
Yeah,
very good
I
company.
I saw you had a nice article out about you guys recently.
Oh yeah, a local. There's a family business association um, close by here, so we are actually Falcon is actually a part of that.
Okay.
So it just basically what it does is gathers all of the family businesses in South Dakota and some in Minnesota and Iowa as well, and North Dakota, I believe. But yeah, so it's just a group of family businesses that get together, share best practices, talk about things like succession planning, and you know, anything that comes up, any issues that come up. COVID, we talked about COVID quite a bit this
Yeah.
year. So it's just basically a group that you can bounce ideas off of, talk to. Maybe not all in the same industry. Typically, all well, they are all family businesses, but typically a lot of manufacturing as well. So that helps quite a bit. So, yeah, they did an interview with Jay Bender and myself and just talked about what this year looked like for us, moving from the second generation to the third generation and how this year has been critical for that, and building the trust, especially amongst like employees and
Yeah.
suppliers, customers of, okay, we know this is um, a transition and it could be scary, right? But just to have the faith and we can do it. And so it was a good test. It was definitely a good test.
Yeah.
Jay and Guy are the second generation owners, and so they have, this year has allowed them to kind of step back a bit and be out of the office, and so that's really allowed a lot of the employees and the managers to come to Kyle and I for more issues and positioned us in more of a leadership position than we had been before. And I think hopefully given the employees confidence in our abilities. So
That's a hard thing.
it is absolutely. I know you feel that too. It's a tough position to be in. You have to work really hard. You always have eyes on you and you always have doubt, right?
Yeah.
But hopefully you can take that doubt and transition it into fueling you to perform better.
Yeah. And what I found most difficult in the beginning was trying to come out from underneath my father's shadow, you know, and do it in a respectful way.
Yes.
Um, you know, my dad we would go somewhere and he would say, I feel like we're in the middle of a like a Discovery Channel show, right? And the young lion comes over and scares off the older lion, and I'm not relevant anymore. And that hurt my feelings so much because I never want it to be that way, you know?
Yeah, right, right.
Um, he created this amazing business over 40 years,
Hmm.
and none of it would be here without him to be here. And I don't want to be the lion that, pisses on the old lion and says, this is my pride now. That's not it. I want to do this together. I want to grow this together while he's still here and wants to do it. And I know he knows that, but the way he was seeing it, the way I saw what he was seeing made me not like what he was feeling.
Yeah, and that's hard, and especially for first generation too, to just, this is my baby,
Right.
and now I have to step out. And I think that's especially hard for first generation. And we're really fortunate. Guy and Jay are both very supportive, and it hasn't. I think this year positioned us to really move a little bit quicker on
Yeah.
that. Also, my grandparents, the founders of Falcon Plastics, passed away earlier this year. And so I think that was also a little bit of a, okay, you know, we want to live our lives too, and take advantage of,
Yeah.
a little bit of retirement or whatever that may be. I'm not saying they're retiring at this point, but just kind of start to slow down a little bit and enjoy
Yeah.
life. So I think that was a little bit of a push for them too, to say, okay, this is time to just take a step back. We can still be involved, and we still want them involved at 100%. They've grown this business exponentially. I think
Right.
when they purchased it from my grandfather, it was maybe, a third of the size it is now, maybe even less. And so they've really, really grown the business exponentially. And so for them, I think they have a little bit of pride in that. And so that helps as well. But I could imagine it would be really hard for your dad. And you're not
Yeah.
the kind of person to step on toes. So that would be hard for you too.
Yeah. And because you got to do it in a gradual way, right? Like you have to let people know that you have authority, but at the same point, being respectful and mindful of everybody that's been there as long and the things that they're doing and what they're comfortable doing. And it's a tightrope to walk,
Definitely.
um, but it's fun and exciting. I think it's working.
Good.
And there's different ways that you can do that, right? Um, to put your leadership out there. Do you find that you do things differently than the first two generations?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't think that's bad. I think, being a family business, I do think that we all have the same morals and values, but I don't necessarily think it's bad to bring a different leadership perspective. And I do feel I do.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. I have a little bit of a twist in there too. And I'm sure you had this too, but we have a lot of employees with really high tenure. They've been here for some employees have been here for 30, 40 years,
Yep.
right? For me, when I walk in the plant, sometimes people are like, "Oh, I remember you when you were this big," and not necessarily now, but when I first came back to the business, people, "Oh, I remember you when you were in
Yeah.
diapers." And for me, it was like growing up in the business, right? So that's not very easy. I had to not only learn everything about life, but on a stage in front of everybody else, right? And fortunately for me, I did not grow up here in the same town. My mom lives in Virginia, so I lived with my mom, but it still is a bit of a challenge to grow up in front of everybody and um, find your professional identity with these people, and then have them, expect them to look at you as a leader. And so I think the biggest thing for me, and we talked about this last time too, is just being vulnerable and being open. And so I've talked to everybody about that too. It's like, hey, I know you watched me grow up, and and thank you for having grace with me, and understanding that those years of discovery are maybe not who I am now, or for allowing me to do that and still looking at me with respect and treating me with
Yeah.
respect. So that's been interesting, a interesting twist as well. But we have a really awesome team, and I just don't know what we would do without them. We definitely wouldn't be here. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's all due to them.
I think my opinion is the biggest thing you can do as a leader is earn people's trust.
Oh, absolutely. It is not given. It is definitely earned.
No. And especially I think in a blue collar environment, where, maybe people have worked in other places where they weren't treated well, or was like the old guard where there's a lot of yelling and high demands, and to come in and use the word that you keep using that I like, grace, and give people grace and understanding. It's a huge difference of the way to do things.
Absolutely. Yep. Agreed.
But it's
So
important.
it is very important. It is very important. And um, yeah, family businesses are interesting. It's
Yeah.
definitely a lot of hard work, but it is worth it. It
Yeah.
means a lot more. And I didn't always necessarily understand that. Maybe in my younger career years, I've always been a bit of an innovator and an entrepreneur. And so for me, my end goal was always starting something of my own, right? I
Yes.
don't mind. I'm very similar, I think, to my grandfather in that way. He and I are very similar. And so I've always wanted, my baby, or
Yep.
to develop something of my own. But, over the years, my dad has always said to me, you can develop this into your own business. You can put your twist on this. And so, Falcon has taught me a lot of really good lessons. And like I said, I've grown up here. So it has been a really important part of my journey on finding my professional identity.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree with you 100%. I worked here off and on in junior high, high school, then kind of, took a break, and coming back was difficult because it meant we were closing the thing that we created. When my wife and I had the marketing and graphic design company, it meant that we were closing that era, right? Like that part failed, and it had to be okay to let that fail and take it for the lessons that they were and move on. And that was a difficult thing.
I bet. I didn't know that you guys had that. I didn't
Yeah.
know you had a marketing and graphic design business before this. Okay.
Yeah. We
Well,
did that for about 10 years.
oh,
And
wow.
it just got more and more difficult because, like everything else, it went to online bidding or overseas, or people telling you what your value is and how much you can charge. And no, we don't want to pay you for that, and all those different things. And it became more and more difficult to make that be successful.
Mm-hmm.
And it led to the shift. And like I said, it had that realization, like, this was supposed to be our baby. This was supposed to be the thing that we grow and do more things with. And it's not. But what lessons did we learn along the way, and how did we do that? And what could we have done differently, and take that and apply it to the current season of life, and grow from there.
10 years. That's a lot to be proud of, too.
Yeah.
A lot to be proud of. So,
And having that business allowed me to do all the things that I wouldn't have been able to do otherwise, right? Like, I was able to jet out in the middle of the day and take my son to hockey practice and skate with him and do all those things that I wouldn't be able to do if I was working a typical 9 to 5 job. I don't regret any of that time. And I honestly don't know what we would have done totally different. But, you know, God's got a plan. It worked out the way it was supposed to work out.
absolutely. Absolutely.
But it was fun. But
Yeah.
I think you said your father told you, you can make it your own thing. I think that's the key, right? Is not what I'm trying to do. What we're trying to do now is pay homage to the past, right? Respect that past and the values that my father created in this business, and the things that he's done, and find ways to expand on it that put a spin on who we are, right? Like, he would have never done this. This is not his thing. So how can we make it different based on those same foundational principles?
Well, that's awesome. I like that. That's a very good piece of advice, because it's true. We try to preserve my grandfather and my grandmother, and, moving forward, we will try to sorry, it's Monday.
Cut. Start
Cut.
over.
All right, that's it. I'm done. and we'll try to very similarly, maintain what the second generation has contributed, which the second generation is more than Guy and Jay. And so I think just maintaining those family values and keeping their spirits alive here is very important. They were a huge part of this. There's no denying that. They were a huge part of this business. If it weren't for them, we wouldn't be here. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's all about, for us, it's telling that story. Whenever somebody comes in here, we talk about the history of our company and how it started, and, why relationships are important to us, how that's helped us build our business. I don't shy away from it. I think Kyle and I had a conversation at one point about, cause he says Roger, he doesn't say my dad.
I say Guy as well.
Do you?
Yeah.
And I would ask him, why? And he said it just seemed more professional. I said, okay. For me, everybody knows. I mean, I'm not hiding anything. It's my dad. It's my
Yep.
father.
Yep.
And I like being able to say that. I like being able to say that I work with him. And I know for you, the last time we talked, you were not really, not bragging is not the right word, but open about being
Yeah.
a family business for different reasons.
Yeah, I do. I typically don't advertise it. I think,
Well, then you shouldn't have an article written on LinkedIn about you.
well, that wasn't really my choice, but I decided to share it because I am very proud. I'm very proud of my family and what they've done. I
Yeah,
just, for me, I think when you're a female in a leadership position in a manufacturing business, it's already a little bit difficult to gain credibility or to
sure.
have credibility. And then when you add a family business in there, you get that idea of nepotism, right? Oh, you have your job because you're a
Yeah.
guy's daughter, and that's why you're the director of operations of Falcon Plastics. And so I really prefer that people just get to know me and see my work and work with me prior to forming those opinions. I'd rather not have that, but I am very proud. I'm very proud of my family, and I'm very
Yeah.
proud of my father and my uncle and my grandfather and grandmother. And so it's difficult because, like what you said, it's like you don't want. I don't want to shy away from being proud of them, but I
Right.
also just want people to give me a chance before they have an idea in their mind of, oh, okay, now I know why.
Yeah.
Totally discredit me. And so that's maybe I've been burned a couple of times in the past like that. And so that's why I present it in that way.
And I get it. I get it 100%. It's not exactly the same, but we'll have customers that either love or hate my father because he's got that personality. You either love him or you hate him. There is no gray. There's no, he's okay. He's an
Yeah.
okay guy. No, you love him or you hate him. So we'll have people that say, no, we won't work with you. We know who your father is, which, is what it is. And go,
Mhm.
okay, fine. Or, we just say, hey, if just give me a shot. I'm not my father,
Mhm.
good
Yeah.
or bad, right? You may love him and then you get me and you go, I like your dad better.
Yeah.
Totally fair.
That's fair. Exactly.
But give us a shake,
Yeah.
just let us do our thing.
Yeah, and I'm very independent, and so I think for me too, that's I like to pave my own path.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't um yeah, I just rather people get. And now that I'm married, finally everybody is so funny. They would all make fun of me because I would just always introduce myself as Jen in meetings, and they were like, Jen. And I'm like, as soon as I say this, everybody's gonna know. So they would all make fun of me, and my dad would go around. We would have meetings with customers, and he would go, or he'd come in and meet him, and he'd be like, "That's my daughter," and
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, Dad," you know. So, but it's funny because he's very proud of me. So he would, he was like, "That's my daughter," but yeah. So now that I'm married, I'm like, okay, I can use my last name. I'm Jenn Barlund. Now I'm, not guilty by association.
Well, you got to go change all that on your social media stuff now.
I know, I'm working through it. I deleted my Facebook for a while there through all of it to try to separate a bit and do it, stay off technology for a bit, but I need to
Yeah,
go do that on LinkedIn too, because
I know.
it's hard for people to find you when they, it's not like I'm, 25 years old or something. I've had years where I've been in the business and I've built this network of individuals. And so that name change thing is hard because it's like, okay, everybody knows me by Jenn Bender. Now I'll change it and they'll be like, who is this? Let's delete her off our LinkedIn.
Yep.
So
Yep. I could see that as being difficult.
yeah, but oh well, it is what it is.
I know you have 8 minutes till you have another call.
You are on it today.
No, did you miss the beginning of this?
Well, you totally redeemed yourself.
All right. Well, I'm glad. Larry Patton, I love you too. He says that he likes both my father and me. So, hey,
Awesome.
we're likable. You're the
That's
rare exception, Larry.
that is great.
Larry's in Nebraska. He has a company called Dramco. They do a lot of work, a lot of good work.
I have heard of them.
Have you?
Yes, I have.
Good guys.
Yeah.
Larry, you should get to know Jen, and then maybe we'll have a match made in work heaven.
There you go. Nice.
So when is COVID going to be lifted so I can come out for a visit? I'm asking you to be a soothsayer now.
Yes. So I'm sure you've seen South Dakota on the news recently. We're a little behind the curve, and so we're on our own path, just
Nice.
spiking right now. So we're trying to be a little cautious. We've just as quickly as we lost a bunch of business, we gained a lot back. So we've been extremely busy lately, and we have had a number of individuals out with COVID or close exposure, things of that nature. And so we're trying to be really cautious about being in the plants or having non-essential individuals in the plants, because we really want to protect our workforce and make sure that we're not exposing anybody. So
Yep.
I'm hoping that early next year that we are able to start allowing people back in, and because we do a lot of tours, we do community tours, we do work tours. We were set this year to do a harbor tour, a map plastics tour. We had all the tours this year and they all got canceled. So I'm hoping that early next year we can do something. So you'll be first on the list, Tony.
Woo!
VIP.
Yeah, it's a thing where, Illinois also has been spiking lately. We've had people out, we're taking all the precautions that we can, but we still got to do work.
Absolutely.
And so if that means customers come in, then it means customers want to come in. We just take as many precautions as we can to minimize anything. But
yep, we've been doing that as well. And we actually, this entire time, we let our customers in. It's not, it's not something we ever want to say, no, you can't come see your products run or whatever. We just, like you said, you be cautious. If there's any unnecessary or non-critical visitors or tours that you have, then cancel those and you roll on with it. So,
yeah.
But yeah, so I'm hoping early next year, that'll give us a little time to get through the craziness and hopefully clean up our shop. So then you can come see it when it looks nice.
I'm game. All you gotta do is call me and I'll come out.
Yes, absolutely.
And then I'll swing by Nebraska and go visit Larry too, so he doesn't get mad at me.
There you go. We'll do a live podcast.
I like it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. If anybody's listening still, we're going to do a quick prayer, not to rush it, but because I'm being mindful of time. So if anybody has anything that they want us to pray for, please put it in the chat and we will do that. We'll give it a quick second. Do you have anything?
Just health for employees, family, friends. I think that's the biggest on my list right now. So
I think it's the biggest on everybody's list for good reason, right? I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy times.
But hey, 2021 is right around the corner. That's a fresh start. It's going to be a good year.
I like your optimism on 2021. My son, and I'm going to be the opposite of that for a second. My son said, I can't wait for 2021. I'm tired of this. And I said, what makes you think it's going to be better?
Oh, no.
What if we get to 2021 and we go, man, 2020 was the good year?
Oh, no, I hope you're wrong.
I hope I'm wrong too. But
we shouldn't wait for a new year to be optimistic. We should be making the most of every minute. You're exactly right. And I know that's what you meant by that. So
yes, we need to be able to find the joy and the optimism and the gifts in the time that we're in, and realize that whatever we're going through is because we need to be trained better.
Yes, absolutely. I like that. That's a great.
And I hope we get it, because I don't want more training in 21.
Yeah, I agree. We trained for the Olympics this year, so it should be good for the next 10 years.
All right. Heavenly Father, thank you for being with us, for giving us this opportunity to talk face to face in a weird new way. Thank you for my friend Jen. And we just ask that you would watch over our families and all the families of people who are listening to this, watching this, that you would bless their lives, and they would feel your presence. We pray for health for our country. We pray for our leaders, whoever that might be. We pray for the people, and for healing for all of us, for comfort, for the realization that we need to learn something. through all of this, and that we will learn it, and that we'll come out better on the other side. Thank you for everything that you do for us, everything that you give us. We don't deserve any of it, and you give it to us anyways. We love you, and it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, Jen, 2 minutes to spare. You can prep for your other meeting. I did it.
Awesome. Thank you, Tony. It was really great to talk to you again. And we'll be in touch. I'm sure there'll be another podcast, hopefully live at Falcon Plastics, coming to you 2021.
Whenever you're ready, you let me know.
Sounds good. Well, take care of yourself. We'll talk to you soon, Tony.
All right. Thanks, friend.
Yeah.
Bye. All right, everybody, that was another Manufacturing Alliance chat and Chow. I'm sorry that we haven't done this recently. We're going to get back to doing it more regularly because I miss it. I like talking with my friends. I like reaching out to other people, and I like telling their stories and our stories, and just sharing some positivity and some hope with whoever's listening. So if you liked it and you got something out of it, do me a favor and share it with somebody. Tell them to listen next time, or just reach out to me and tell me that you want to be on the show. We're always looking for guests. We're always looking for people to participate and tell their stories, and find ways to bring energy and positivity to not just our community, but all the communities. So on behalf of myself and Jen and Alliance and Falcon Plastics, thank you all for listening, for being with us. Take care, and God bless.